Have you ever heard of a gate so ominous it is known as the Gate of No Return? This isn't a setup for a tale of fantasy or horror, but a very real and tragic chapter in our shared human history. Nestled on the coast of Benin in West Africa, this monument, the Gate of No Return, stands as a stark reminder of a time when human lives were traded as commodities. Its name alone sends chills down the spine, hinting at the grim journey that awaited those who passed through it. Its connection to the Atlantic slave trade is inescapable, a dark period when millions were forcibly taken from their homes, never to return again. Yet, despite its eerie name and haunting history, the Gate of No Return is more than just a symbol of past atrocities. It's a monument to resilience, survival, and the unbreakable human spirit. This gate holds stories of countless lives forever altered by the tides of history. The origins of the Gate of No Return are steeped in the dark history of the Atlantic slave trade. This gate, a grim symbol of human suffering and endurance, served as the last threshold for millions of African slaves before they embarked on a horrific journey to an uncertain future in the Americas and the Caribbean. The Gate of No Return is a term that encapsulates the brutal reality of the Atlantic slave trade. It was more than just a physical gateway, it was the cruel departure point where countless lives were irrevocably changed. Men, women and children were forcefully taken from their homes, their families and their homelands, only to be thrust into a life of enslavement, hardship, and torment. Before they were marched through this infamous gate, these individuals endured conditions that were beyond brutal. They were packed into cramped, unsanitary holding areas known as barracoons, where they were stripped of their identities and reduced to mere commodities. The conditions were dehumanizing, designed to break their spirits before they were sold to the highest bidder. Once sold, they were marched in chains through the Gate of No Return. This was the last sight they had of their homeland. The gate marked the end of their lives as free individuals and the beginning of their existence as enslaved people. Imagine being forcibly taken from your home, marched to a gate, and knowing you'd never return. This heartbreaking narrative was the reality for countless individuals during the era of the transatlantic slave trade, and it all hinged on one ominous threshold, the Gate of No Return. The emotional impact of this gate was catastrophic. It represented the last bit of native soil these individuals would ever touch, the final glimpse of their homeland before being shipped off to foreign lands. It was a place of parting, where families were torn asunder, not knowing if they would ever see their loved ones again. The immense grief, the dread, the absolute despair that hung over this place is unimaginable. The term Gate of No Return wasn't just a name but a cruel reality. It symbolized the finality of their fate. Once crossed, there was no going back, no chance of escape. The gate was the last barrier between the known and the unknown, between freedom and enslavement, between life as it was and life as it was about to become. It was the end of one horrific journey and the beginning of another, even more harrowing one. But the gate also served as a stark reminder of the human capacity for hope and resilience. Despite the heart-wrenching circumstances, many enslaved individuals found the strength to resist, to hold on to their identities, their cultures, their humanity. They carried with them the spirit of their homelands, a spirit that would survive and thrive despite the atrocities they were forced to endure. The Gate of No Return was not merely a physical structure, it was a symbol, a metaphor for a journey from which there was no return. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. It was a stark reminder of a dark period in human history, a period that should never be forgotten. The gate was not just a physical structure, but a symbol of a journey with no return. The Atlantic slave trade eventually came to an end, but the memories of the Gate of No Return lingered. This gateway, once a symbol of unimaginable despair, has transformed over the centuries into a poignant emblem of the African diaspora. Its haunting aura resonates with the countless stories of those who, once passing through its ominous archway, were forever separated from their homeland. As the echoes of the past reverberated through time, the Gate of No Return began attracting descendants of the African diaspora. These pilgrims embarked on heartfelt journeys, tracing the steps of their ancestors and seeking a connection to their roots. Their visits weren't just personal, they were symbolic, representing a collective longing for understanding, reconciliation, and healing. Over time, these pilgrimages became a powerful narrative in the global conversation about the African diaspora. The Gate of No Return emerged as a focal point in this discourse, a somber reminder of the human cost of the slave trade. It served as a stark testament to the resilience of the African spirit, a spirit that endured and thrived despite the trials of history. Recognizing the Gate's historical significance and its role as a symbol of African diaspora, UNESCO included it in its list of World Heritage Sites. This recognition was more than just an acknowledgement of the Gate's historical importance. It was an affirmation of the Gate's role in the ongoing story of the African diaspora, a story of strength, survival, and perseverance. Today, the Gate of No Return stands not only as a relic of a dark past, but also as a beacon of remembrance. It is a place where we can reflect on the atrocities of the Atlantic slave trade, while also celebrating the unbreakable spirit of those who were forced to pass through its archway. Through commemoration, we keep their memory alive, ensuring that their stories continue to be told and their legacy preserved. The Gate of No Return transformed from a symbol of despair to one of remembrance and reconciliation. It is a testament to our collective capacity to remember, to learn, and ultimately, to heal. Today, the Gate of No Return continues to resonate with people around the world. Its legacy, though steeped in a tragic past, remains relevant in our modern-day conversations about slavery, racism, and human rights. It's not just a monument, it's a symbol, a conversation starter, and a powerful reminder of the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade. The Gate of No Return, standing solemnly on the shores of Benin, Africa, silently narrates the heart-wrenching tale of millions of African men, women, and children who were forcibly taken from their homeland, never to return. It's a tale that's not easy to digest, but one that is essential to understanding the roots of systemic racism and inequality that persist today. The Gate's legacy has been instrumental in educating people about this dark chapter of human history. Its presence sparks dialogue, driving home the fact that the echoes of the past still reverberate in the present. It compels us to confront and challenge the remnants of racism and discrimination that continue to plague our societies. Furthermore, the Gate's legacy transcends the realm of history and enters the sphere of human rights. It serves as a stark reminder of the inalienable rights that were stripped away from millions of people, rights that we often take for granted today. It prompts us to ponder on the value of freedom, dignity, and equality, fueling our collective efforts to uphold these fundamental human rights for all. As we engage in these conversations, the Gate also encourages healing. It's a place of reflection, where we can acknowledge the pain of the past, confront the challenges of the present, and commit to a future free from the shackles of prejudice and discrimination. The Gate of No Return stands as a testament to a past we must never forget, and a future we must strive to improve. It implores us to remember, to learn, and to grow, ensuring that the lessons it imparts will continue to shape our world for the better. The Gate of No Return is more than just a historical monument. It stands as a stark reminder of a dark chapter in human history, a symbol of the transatlantic slave trade that saw countless lives forever changed. Emotionally, it's a haunting testament to the heart-wrenching journeys undertaken by those forced into bondage, their last sight of their homeland before being thrust into the unknown. Yet, amid the sorrow, it also reflects our ability to remember, to mourn, and to learn. The Gate has transformed over the centuries, evolving from a symbol of despair into a place of remembrance, a site that honors the resilience of those who suffered unimaginable hardships. In today's context, the Gate of No Return still resonates, reminding us of the importance of understanding our past to build a more compassionate future. In understanding the story of the Gate of No Return, we learn not just about history, but about humanity's capacity for both cruelty and resilience.